Hello, welcome to my channel. This is an introductory video for one of my playlists. And I just wanted to say, I have questions. Was someone killing people who was traveling to Nevada, maybe to get cars to sell in Utah? Because, people gamble all their money away. Maybe the cars were cheap and then they wanted to sell them in Utah and they didn't have a way to get to Nevada to get the cars, and maybe they lived in Utah, so maybe they were killing people on the way that they were going to Nevada to pick up the cars. And maybe that's the one lady ran into somebody at a car lot, maybe. Or when she went to meet her ex-husband, and then I wondered, did her ex-husband work at the car lot? I don't know. So did they come back with cars to sell? Is there signs that people vanished from Nevada heading to Utah with cars, found in Utah with the keys in them, so that maybe somebody was just traveling back and forth? Was there a serial killer maybe that was hitchhiking and traveling around and killing people? Like the one guy, his last name was Sells, I believe, Sells. And he took a credit for killing a lot of people, but I don't know if he was being honest. Was it different serial killers? There was a sheep herders that supposedly killed a woman for their car. Did they kill anyone else for their car as well? Were there other cars missing or found in the places where the sheep herders were, or dead bodies around where the sheep herders would have been? How many people vanished in the mountains with their car found with the keys in them? You see the cars there, you think, oh, maybe they went hiking. Maybe they died, maybe something happened to them, and they left the keys in the car and the car unlocked. Would they have left the keys in the car if they were going hiking, or locked the car up and taken the keys with them? Was the killer leaving the keys in the car hoping someone would steal the car to lead people in another direction? It seems like if the killer did not need the car and they were done with the car, that they often might have just left the cars unlocked with the keys inside. Or maybe there was a serial killer. Remember the one that painted and worked on vehicles? The Green River Killer. He painted and worked on and sold vehicles. And he had his crimes from 1982, it could have been 1998 to 2001. And he was born in 1949 in Salt Lake City. Did he have family in Salt Lake City or in Utah? Is it possible that he was selling some of the vehicles of his victims? So in 1980s and 1990s, he had victims in Washington and Oregon. One person could be killed by one person and another killed by another person. So serial killers may have taken credit for murders they did not commit to get fame or to even go outside from the prison as they looked for the body, or they might even deny a murder that they committed. So I don't know. They were, were they killed by somebody that they knew? Somebody that they were dating, a jealous husband, somebody they met at work, a lover, or even a lover's spouse? Or if they were married, maybe if their spouse was unfaithful and maybe their lover, with the car moved as a distraction, like to taken to the airport to make it look like they left town, to give them time to hide the evidence. Or did they just break down and they ran into a serial killer? Maybe they were dining out or somewhere in public and they ran across a serial killer, like picking up a hitchhiker. And we are hoping to spark new interest and conversations in missing person cases. Perhaps as you recall these cases, you may recall information that you had forgotten about or that you had not given to the investigators in the past. Perhaps you'll realize that information that you had given them in the past, that perhaps you may want to give it to the current investigators in case they no longer have that information. Because remember, the information's been stored in so many different ways over the years, from taking notes and put in a case file to stored on floppy disks or stored on word processors or different software that might have crashed. Perhaps information that you once thought was not important or irrelevant, now you think it may be useful. We're hoping that more cases get solved so that their loved ones can have closure. There are Jane Does, John Does, unidentified persons who should have their identities back so that their loved ones know who they are. There are people who still have hope that one day they will find out what happened to their loved one. They may think, oh, this might be them, or oh, this might be them, and get upset every which way, thinking they might have died this way or suffered this way. And they, and we want them to be able to have a memorial service, to have their remains cremated and scatter their ashes, giving them a place to visit, or even to have some of their cremated remains with them in their home, or even if they want to donate their remains to investigators or science to help solve other cases. Each missing person case deserves to have attention and to hopefully be solved. If you have information about any missing person cases, even if you gave the information to a detective years ago, or you're not sure if it's vital or if it'll help him solve the case, maybe you feel like it's hearsay, please contact law enforcement to give them that information, as they may not have it any longer after so many years have passed. Maybe if you were afraid to come forward years ago, maybe you can come forward now. As you go through these cases, please don't forget to pray for their loved ones. You may notice that sometimes we go search through John Doe's, looking to see if they were found near where someone else went missing, or if they fit their description. We feel like sometimes it helps just to have a fresh set of eyes looking. Also, we have considered that there may be people who have information that they do not want to share with investigators, as maybe they feel like the person who is living may hold more value to them than the person who may have been the victim. We feel like when they hear about these victims found nearby, these persons that went missing and how they suffered and what they might have gone through, that it will help them feel more empathy towards the victim than that of the person who harmed them, and perhaps inspire them to come forward. Please note, when I say we, I mean me. We all have our own style of doing things, and this is mine. And my time is volunteered. I had a loved one who was killed, and I have panic attacks, and I have a hard time leaving the house and going and do things. So I feel like maybe this will help me to have, I don't know if it'll help me to have closure, or just help me to be able to deal with things, or maybe just to help other people. So this is what I do with a lot of my time. Please feel free to leave comments. Thank you so much for tuning in, and have a blessed day. Bye-bye.